Hey guys and girls, so a real quick video on sanding drywall and getting prepped up for paint. So I've gone ahead and I've sanded everything out. Including the ceilings. So what I like to do is use the pole sander. And this one here is just a plastic one, it's pretty inexpensive. That's a 120 grit. I like using the mesh ones because it doesn't clog up nearly as fast with the drywall dust, which will actually cause it to not sand and not prep the surface the way that it should. That's one of the downfalls of using a traditional sandpaper. So you can see I've got a shorter extension pole for some of these shorter areas where I've got, say, a bulkhead or you just can't get in somewhere. So I've got that. I like these angle sponges. They're excellent for getting into the corner. So you can see there that the rest of the block doesn't actually touch the corner. Whereas if you would have used a square one, then what it does is actually causes it to make a groove in this side. So using those angle ones are a lifesaver. But what I like to do is sometimes I'll kill the lights so that you get different views of the actual drywall, because you'll find different marks, scratches, imperfections. And I don't care who you are, how long you've been doing this for, you will always find spots that you either missed sanding or you didn't apply enough mud, applied too much mud and didn't sand it, etc. I don't care how good you are, how long you've been doing it. Some are better than others at hiding their mistakes and fixing things, but it's just, it's life, you know? We're human beings, we make mistakes. So what I like to do is just, I'll have a pencil nearby. This one's just a carpenter's pencil. And I'll go around and I'll circle things. Like you can see here, a screw that missed. I thought the stud was there for whatever reason. And it's gonna be a bugger when, well, it was a bugger when I was sanding, but it'll be, you know, chances are it could be exposed even when I put the baseboard on. So I gotta decide whether I'm gonna fill that hole or not. And coming over here, well, first of all, sorry, I should say that when I'm sanding, I like to use just a battery operated light like this. A lot of guys don't like using the halogen spotlights. They're really good. The problem is they get very hot, and a lot of times they'll actually be sitting on the floor and they'll be casting light kind of up like that. So it's very inconsistent. You can see that right in this area it's very bright. Up here near the top, not so much. So I like to take and actually hold this flashlight in my left hand and sand with my right, however it works out for you guys. But I'll actually go along and I'll sand with this. So what I'll do is I'll start off with this one here, the 120 grit, and I'll switch to a finer block that's probably about a 180, and I'll follow that up. And that gets rid of a lot of the big scratches. You can see here, everything's nice and smooth, it's ready for paint. But what I'll do is I'll take that pencil, and if I come across anything, see, you can see there where I sanded too much or I didn't have enough drywall mud on there. Now I need to touch that up again. Without the light on it, I can see the tape, but you can see there, as soon as I go to paint that, it's gonna show. Say hi, Atticus. All right, don't say hi. So you can see again, looks fairly normal. Yeah, there's a bit of the tape exposed. I'm not too concerned about it, but you actually get the light on it and you can see that there's just a slight crack, and I don't think that's focusing too well, but there's just a slight crack there. So had I not put the light on it, I'd never see something like that. Here's another good example. So it's hard to see because it's dark, but everything looks good. But you put the flashlight on it, and see that crease or that just slight impression on there, that's from me moving the sheets downstairs or whatever it happens to be. But without the light on it, you would never see that. And when you paint, I'll tell you, that thing will be first thing that shows up. Another good example, I'm fairly positive that I didn't sand this, or maybe I just gave it an absolute scuff, but put the light on it. Look at that. Some of this is dust, but some of this, like, you can just barely see it now that you know where it is with the light, but you throw that light on there and it shows everything. So I use this method to go around. I try to identify all the spots that I missed, that I didn't put enough mud. This one here I think is a bubble. Yeah, sorry. So that one there's a bubble. But I mean, when I was sanding, I couldn't feel it, I couldn't hear it. But you put that light on there and you can just see the edge of that tape just kicking up, just barely. So that one needs to be pulled back and reapplied. Just throw a little bit of mud behind there. Same thing over here. I can just barely see that edge of that tape popping up, but you throw the light on there and it's pretty clear that I fucked up on that, excuse the language, I screwed up on that corner. So that's my tip. Take the light with you, run it down as you're sanding. It'll help identify most of the screw ups. Once you paint, chances are you're gonna have to go back again, either with some drywall mud or some spackling compound, and just fix up some little imperfections. But I hope this gives you guys and girls a little, you know, a little bit of advice of how I like to do things. Is by no means the way that it has to be done. I just find that this works for me. I'm by no means an expert. I have done a lot of drywall work in my past, and this just what works for me. So hopefully it works for you guys too. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. You didn't like the video, thumbs down. Leave something in the bottom saying why you didn't like it. Think about hitting that subscribe button, or subscribe button. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I know that there's a cat coming. Hey Icky, that's Ichabod. So yeah, think about hitting that subscribe button down in the bottom. Tell me if you want to see more cats. Tell me if you want to see more of anything. Leave some comments down below. If you have any questions, I will get back to you as soon as I can. Until the next video, thanks for watching.